Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk in English. My name is Esther.
And my name is Garrett. You're with us for our Talk About It story.
And the title of today's lesson is Why is it so messy?
Why is it so messy? If a place is messy, that means there is stuff everywhere. That might not necessarily mean it's dirty, it just means it's not tidy.
Right, it is not clean. It is not organized. Things are not put away where they should be put. And all these things, we can call it mess.
Right. Now, when you have a house that you're responsible for, it takes a lot of work to stop your house from becoming messy. So you need to clean up every day.
Right. There are many places in a person's house or apartment. There's a living room, the kitchen, and bathroom. And all these places might get messy if we're not careful.
Now, friends, be careful to answer today's Find It question. Our question today is, when did Todd move in?
When did Todd move in? Listen carefully to find the answer.
Now, here's Sonia with our keywords.
Lance 走出房间到客厅里去。He walks out into the living room. 名词 living room 就是客厅。他发现到处都是室友 Todd 的东西，丢得乱七八糟的。Todd 赶快解释，因为他昨晚熬夜在整理账单付款的事，所以东西很多。I was up late last night paying my bills. 名词 bill 就是账单。Lance 指了指地上的垃圾，请他捡一下。Lance points at some trash on the floor. 动词 point 就是指向，而名词 trash 就是垃圾，它是不可数名词。后来，当 Lance 走进厨房时候，发现又是一样又脏又乱。Lance walks into the kitchen. 名词 kitchen 就是厨房。
Good morning, Todd,
says Lance as he walks out into the living room. Lance and Todd are roommates. They share an apartment in the city.
Todd, what's going on in the living room? There are things everywhere.
These things? Oh, I was up late last night paying my bills.
Lance isn't happy. He looks at everything on the table and says,
Please clean this up this morning.
We start with Lance saying good morning to the person he lives with, his roommate, Todd.
Right. They are in the living room. This is one of the rooms that many people have in their house. It's where you might have some places to sit, maybe a TV, and it's where you spend time relaxing.
And they share an apartment. This means that together they pay the rent. Each month, both Lance and Todd will pay money so they can live in this apartment.
Yeah, well, it's not quite so good in the living room, though. Lance sees that there are things everywhere. It's kind of messy.
Right. We can say there is a mess in the living room. And Lance wants to know why the things are there.
Yeah, so Todd begins to explain. He looks around at those things and says that he was up late last night paying his bills. So he was probably looking at lots of different pieces of paper and then never put those things away.
Right. A bill is a payment, something you have to pay. When you live in an apartment, there might be a water bill or an electricity bill. You need to pay for water and electricity.
Well, he was up late. Friends, let's go to Sonia to learn more about this.
Lance 的新室友 Todd 说：“我昨天晚上熬夜缴账单。I was up late last night paying my bills。”句中的 up 为形容词，指起床或是还没上床睡觉的状态，而分词片语 paying my bills 是说明晚睡的原因。来看例句 ：We were up late watching the movie。我们熬夜看了一部电影，或是 She was up early this morning watering her garden。她今天早起去花园浇水。再练习一句 I was busy all afternoon painting my house。我忙了一个下午粉刷我的房子。
Thank you, Sonia. Well, when two people live together, it's important for them to talk to each other so they can understand each other. Today, Lance isn't happy about this mess.
No, he doesn't like it. He tells Todd, please clean this up this morning.
Yeah, he wants this mess to go away so they can have a clean and tidy living room. What's going to happen next? Let's keep watching to find out.
Please keep the apartment clean.
Lance continues.
I told you that when you moved in last month.
You did. I'll clean up right away.
Lance sits down and looks at his phone. As Todd cleans up his things, he says,
Lance, thanks for letting me move in. My last roommate was so messy.
Sure.
says Lance, and points at some trash on the floor.
Please pick that up too.
You know, when you have a roommate, you need to share many spaces, like the living room, the bathroom, and the kitchen.
That's right. You need to care for those places together. Now, at the beginning of this part, we heard a great phrase. It's to move in. And that leads us to our Find It question. When did Todd move in?
He moved in last month. Now, when you move in, it means you move from one place to another place. This is talking about the place you live in. So Todd was living somewhere else 1 month ago, but then he moved in with Lance.
Well, Lance wants him to keep this apartment clean, and he told him that when he moved in.
Todd remembers. He says, I'll clean up right away. So it sounds like he's not going to wait. He's going to do it immediately.
Yeah, so Lance sits down and looks at his phone as Todd continues to clean things up. And Todd says, thanks for letting me move in. My last roommate was so messy.
Right. It sounds like Lance doesn't like people who make messes. If something is messy, it means there is a lot of mess or it doesn't look very clean.
Right. Todd doesn't like people who are messy either, even though it sounds like he left a mess himself. Well, there is a bit of trash on the floor as well as the things on the table. Lance points these things out.
Right. And if you're pointing something out, you might use your finger and you might point. You might put your finger and show people what you're trying to say when you are talking.
Trash is things you don't want. You want to put them in the trash can and get rid of them. Friends, it's time for our break. We'll be right back with more of this story.
Let's talk in English. 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
You know, sometimes we will see trash on the floor. What do you do when you see trash?
Well, if it's in my house, I'm definitely going to throw it away. If it's outside on the street, I might pick it up, but not always.
Right. Think about what you do when you see trash on the floor. Or better yet, let's not put trash on the floor. Let's make sure we put it straight into that trash can. Let's move on.
Lance stands up.
Just remember to keep things clean. I shouldn't have to remind you.
Of course. I'll do my best.
Todd says with a smile. Lance smiles back and walks into the kitchen. When he sees the kitchen table, he stops smiling.
Why is the kitchen messy too?
Lance complains.
Oh, sorry. I fixed myself a snack last night. I'll clean it up later.
What should Lance do?
Lance should just keep reminding Todd to keep the apartment clean.
Lance should tell Todd to move out.
Your choice.
What would you do?
Well, Lance really wants to keep this apartment clean, so he reminds Todd, just remember to keep things clean.
Yeah, that's very important to him. And he says, I shouldn't have to remind you. He thinks Todd should just keep things clean himself.
Right. When you're reminding someone, you're telling them again and again to do something. What does Todd say?
Well, Todd says he'll do his best. He'll try to keep things clean and organized. And Lance smiles back and then walks away. He walks into the kitchen. That's the room in your house where you cook things.
But when he gets into the kitchen, he is not happy and he stops smiling because the kitchen is also a mess.
Oh no, the kitchen is also a mess. He sees the kitchen table. It's messy. And Todd tells him why.
Todd says, I fixed myself a snack last night. I'll clean it up later. Now here, if you fix yourself something, it means you're making yourself a snack.
Now let's go to Sonia for more on this interesting use of that word.
Todd 说：“哦，对不起，我昨晚做了点心吃。Oh, sorry, I fixed myself a snack last night," says Todd. 动词 fix 一般是指修理的意思，但是也可以指准备饭菜或是整理等意思。来看例句 ：Can the man at the repair shop fix your car?维修店的那个男人能修好你的车吗？或是 We need to fix lunch for the kids now. 我们现在需要为孩子们准备午餐。再练习一句 Can you wait while I fix my hair? 你能等我整理好头发吗？
Thank you so much, Sonia. So, Todd has another mess to clean up. It sounds like he's still cleaning up in the living room. He says he'll clean it up later.
Yes, he'll clean the mess in the kitchen later. Friends, did you hear the phrase, I'll clean it up later? Well, that's also today's calendar phrase.
I'll clean it up later.
I'll clean it up later. 我等一下会清理。
Your room is so messy.
I'll clean it up later.
There is stuff everywhere.
I'll clean it up later.
There is trash everywhere.
I'll clean it up later.
No more video games until your room is clean.
Oh, I'll clean it up now. Yeah.
I'll clean it up later.
I'll clean it up later.
我等一下会清理。
I feel bad for Lance. He wanted a roommate who could keep the apartment clean, but it doesn't sound like Todd is too clean.
Right. On the other hand, some people, well, They're not good about cleaning things up right away. That doesn't mean they're bad people, though. They're just a little bit slower on those things. Or they don't mind having a little bit of a mess in their house.
What should Lance do? What would you do? Now let's go and review today's keywords.
Here's your first keyword for today. Living room. Living room. Mary is sitting in the living room.
Bill. Bill. How much was the bill for food?
Point. Point. Jean pointed to a bird in the tree.
Trash. Trash. Where can I put this trash?
Kitchen. Kitchen. Who is cooking in the kitchen? Well, friends, those are your keywords for today. Keep on practicing them.
And now it's
your turn.
The words for today are living room, bill, pointing, trash, and kitchen. Now it's your turn to use them in a sentence. First one. What are you at? Good job. What are you pointing at? Next. Your is very comfortable. You got it. Your living room is very comfortable. Next. There is too much here. Correct. There is too much trash here. Next. Put the food in the... Great job. Put the food in the kitchen. Last one. Let me help you pay the... You're right. Let me help you pay the bill. And let me remind you to come back tomorrow for your turn.
Good morning, Todd,
says Lance as he walks out into the living room. Lance and Todd are roommates. They share an apartment in the city.
Todd, what's going on in the living room? There are things everywhere.
These things? Oh, I was up late last night paying my bills.
Lance isn't happy. He looks at everything on the table and says,
Please clean this up this morning. Please keep the apartment clean.
Lance continues.
I told you that when you moved in last month.
You did. I'll clean up right away.
Lance sits down and looks at his phone. As Todd cleans up his things, he says,
Lance, thanks for letting me move in. My last roommate was so messy.
Sure,
says Lance and points at some trash on the floor.
Please pick that up too.
Lance stands up.
Just remember to keep things clean. I shouldn't have to remind you.
Of course. I'll do my best.
Todd says with a smile. Lance smiles back and walks into the kitchen. When he sees the kitchen table, he stops smiling.
Why is the kitchen messy too?
Lance complains.
Oh, sorry. I fixed myself a snack last night. I'll clean it up later.
What should Lance do?
Ginger, what is this?
What is what?
All this stuff. There are things everywhere.
Oh, these things? I was doing homework last night.
Well, please clean this up.
Yeah.
You need to keep this place clean.
Yeah.
I told you that before.
Yeah. I'll clean it up.
You're so messy. And look, there's trash.
Trash where?
On the floor. Oh, please pick it up.
Okay.
You also made a mess in the kitchen.
I'll clean it up later.
Ginger is so messy.
James is so bossy.
What should I do?
Hello, Grandpa. I have some questions for you.
And I have some answers for you.
Great. Well, let's get started.
Hey, you have trash in your hand.
That's because I have a question about trash for you.
Oh.
What should you do when you see trash on the floor?
Ask someone to pick it up.
No, Grandpa. You should pick it up yourself.
Well, I know, but if I pick trash up from the floor, I might not be able to get back up.
That's true. Since you're a grandpa, I picked up the trash for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria.
You're welcome. So, Grandpa, do you keep your house clean?
Yes, look how clean it is.
It looks very clean. Why do you keep your house clean?
I want it to look nice when my friends and family stop by to visit.
That's a great reason to keep your house clean.
Besides, I like it clean.
You do?
Yes, a clean house is a better house.
That's so true.
I think so too.
I really hope Lance and Todd talk about what they think keeping the apartment clean looks like.
Yeah, I remember living with roommates, and it was always important to talk about these things. What we each wanted in the house was different, so we needed to understand each other.
Right, what you think is clean might not be what the other person thinks is clean.
Well, friends, we'll see you again tomorrow for another great lesson. Right here on Let's Talk in English. Goodbye.
Bye.